Alright, we are going to start and open the number second session. 네, 본 세션 2는
The second session has the keyword of regional collaboration. We have 2-A, which is about North Asia, and we have 2B session, which is about revitalizing cruise market of Asia.
we are going to introduce the government officers of North Asia, officers of international shipping, and we are going to share their future plans and further support to make Asia be the colorful and attractive destination. 네, 그럼 제주 국제 크루즈 포럼 세션 2-A 이끌어주실 좌장 딕슨 친.
Let me introduce our moderator, Managing Director Dickson Chin, who will take over from now.
To you.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. So yes, absolutely. Today, the theme in this afternoon session is to reiterate what we have already heard many a times today, and that is the collaboration and the partnership that we see in this industry and in this region. So joining me this afternoon here on the panel are distinguished guests and very, very respected in their own fields. I will introduce each one of them one by one, and I will ask them to also say a few things just to tell us a little bit more about you and about the organization you work with. So first of all, I'm going to start on my left is Ms. Joanne Wu. She's the Senior Manager for Cruise at the Hong Kong Tourism Board. Welcome, Joanne.
Thank you, Dickson. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. This is Joanne from Hong Kong Tourism Board. And actually, I'm responsible for building the cruise business in Hong Kong, and we have been working with the cruise lines partners and also the regional corporations.
Thank you. And to Joanne's left is Ms. Emily Huang. She's a Deputy Director of International Affairs Division for the Taiwan Tourism Bureau. Okay. Welcome, Emily.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Dickson. Emily Huang from Taiwan Tourism Bureau. I'm responsible for attracting all the international travelers to come to Taiwan, and including to cooperate with the cruise line. And welcome to see and to visit Taiwan to see after the epidemic, Taiwan, because we changed a lot. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Emily, for the invitation. I think you might have a lot of people coming to Taiwan to see you. Third, of course, is Mr. Young-Kyu Kwon. He is a Director of Marine Leisure Tourism Division at the Ministry of Oceans and Fisheries. Mr. Kwon.
Very good afternoon. My name is Young-Kyu Kwon. I'm the Director of the Marine Leisure Tourism Division of Ministry of Oceans and Fisheries. Our division is responsible for various ocean leisure activities, and as we see the resumption of the cruise industry, we started to have more interest in the cruise industry and been carrying out related policies. It's great to meet you, all of you. Thank you.
F is, of course, Tatiana Granone, who is the Associate Vice President and Port Operations and Guest Port Services for Silversea. Welcome, Tatiana.
Thanks, Dickson. Nice to meet you all. My name is Tatiana Granone, and I've been working with Silversea for the past 11 years. I'm Italian, from Genova, and I'm being covered in different positions in the company, and now I'm here for Port Ops. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you, Tatiana. And last but not least, of course, somebody who may not need much introduction is Ms. Sai Ichikawa, representing, of course, Princess Cruises. She's the Director of Asia Port Operations. Welcome, Sai-san.
Thank you so much, Dickson, and hi to everybody. It's so great to see all our friends back again, getting us together. It's so nice to see you guys again. Thank you. And then for Princess, we have been deploying Japan home port for the last 10 years. Princess also 10th year's anniversary home porting in Japan. So thank you for every single one of you. How far we have come here. Thank you.
Auspicious day and event for sure. 10th for Princess and 10th for the Asia Cruise Forum in Jeju. So without further ado, I'm going to dive into some questions that we have here and try to get a dialogue going. It is more of a conversation. We've got no presentation today. It's really just to be engaging and exchange some views and talk a little bit about more of the regional collaboration. So as the MC very diligently explained, we're here to talk and exchange from the government perspective and also from the cruise line's expectations. So if I may start with the first request is an introduction of your destination. So I'm going to start with, of course, Joanne to my left. So tell us a little bit about Hong Kong.
Oh, sure. For Hong Kong, I think most of you know about Hong Kong is it is a very metropolitan city, but actually we have more to offer. We have fusions of cultures and contrasts. We have East meets West culture. We have Old meets New architecture. We also have urban meets nature. So what we are talking about is whatever experience you're looking for. Say you are a foodie, you're looking for Michelin-star restaurants to street food, or even you are going to shop around. We have the luxury shopping malls to some local stores, fashion stores. And other than that, we also have some Hong Kong authentic heritage. Say, for example, the Star Ferries, which has been ranked as one of the top lists to do in the life. And we also have our tram, which is over 100 years. So other than that, I think one part of Hong Kong that people may not really recognize is the great outdoor of Hong Kong. We got a very beautiful beaches, mountains, we got hiking trails, and one place in Hong Kong called Sai Kung, there actually you can play all the water sports there. And we also have the UNESCO sites there, so you can have a look there. And most importantly, we are actually launching some new excitement this year. We have the new arts and cultural districts called West Kowloon Cultural Districts. We have the newly built Hong Kong Palace Museum, as well as the Empress Museum. And we also, in the past few years, we also uplift our attractions, say the Peak Tram. And the Peak Tram, you definitely can't miss going to the Peak to have a look of the skyline of Hong Kong. Or if you prefer some indoor, there is also a Sky 100 observation deck. You can view the 360 degrees of Hong Kong skyline. And other than all these attractions, I would say Hong Kong is also a very convenience place with all the super connectivity and also travel from around the world. So I think this is a glimpse of Hong Kong introduction.
Yeah, thank you. And for those who know me too, I'm a resident in Hong Kong and I'm extremely proud to be living in the city as well. But no, that's enough. Emily, tell us a little bit about Taiwan.
Yes, okay, thank you very much. I just introduced Taiwan in Chinese, is okay? I think Taiwan 是一个海岛的国家，那我们是在亚洲邮轮。
So we are a marine city located in Asia, and we are known for abundant assets for cruise. So we have multiple ports, and we are an international city. So when we look at the traffic at the port, from the perspective of North Asia, from Japan to Korea, and to Hong Kong and Macau, we can cover those areas, and the Philippines and Singapore can be covered as well. So we are at an optimal location. And in expanding the role of a port, and for assets at the port, Taiwan is a city with abundant resources.
To our host, Mr. Kwon, tell us a little bit more about here.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. So, as you all know, Korea is located at the center of the Northeast Asia. So wherever you start, you cross Korea. So this is one big advantage that we have. And for different destination, it has different characteristics. So more specifically, in case of Jeju, which is a hosting city of this Asia Cruise Forum, it is also designated as a UNESCO World Natural Heritage and is surrounded by nature, including the ocean and mountain. And in terms of Busan, which is a port city, it allows tourists to cover both Old Town and New Town. And the second largest city, Incheon, is very close to port. And it is also a city that has Incheon International Airport. So in terms of accessibility, it has a great advantage. From Incheon to Seoul, it's very close. So it also has a great geographical advantage. And the lastly, Recently, I have to say Sokcho, which is another city of Korea. It recently opened its port, and as a cruise enters the port, of course, we cannot compare this with Alps, but there's this Taebaek mountain line where tourists can fully enjoy the great nature of Korea. So for the cruise tourists and the cruise industry people, I hope that all of you can visit Sokcho. This wraps up. Thank you.
Cruise line, just very quickly. Tatiana and Sai-san, of course, having heard everything about the destinations has to offer, what are your expectations from the destinations itself? You know, and of course, do tell us a little bit more about your cruise lines as well, your brand, your different segment that you are in. So please, Tatiana first.
Thanks, Dickson. Yes, Silversea is part of Royal Caribbean Group since a few years, and we are a leader in ultra luxury cruising, operating nearly since 30 years ago with the Ocean class and 15 years on Expedition class. We cover 900 destinations across 140 countries, and we touch all the 7 continents. We have 13 ships in our fleet. And for sure, our expedition is our key landmark, and our destination are the most one that guests expect to visit. We were the first in 2008 to introduce luxury together with expedition. That was not done before. And we launched that with Silver Explorer, formerly known as Prince Albert II, exploring the region of Arctic and Antarctic, sailing through Zodiac, looking for polar bear, drinking champagne and strawberry. This is how we define luxury in Silversea. For Asia, we've been covering the market since near almost 30 years, so we are very loyal. And for the coming season, 23 and 24, we are going to have around 161 calls across 12 countries, out of which we have 144 ports of call and 17 turnaround. We will go there with 3 vessels, Muse, Moon, and Whisper from the classic fleet, and we will have around 18 voyages. As well, in 2025, we are proud to announce that our world cruise, which for us is a landmark, it will start from Tokyo. And the first time that happened for us, and I believe in the cruise industry, because normally these do a different itinerary. So for us, is an important message as well that our guests are willing and are keen on sailing and starting the world cruise from Asia.
Brilliant, thank you. Very exciting. This is indeed first of its kind. And Sai-san.
Yes, thank you. So I think a lot of us here, including the audience, we have a lot of people that have been in this industry for maybe over 10 years. But for those who are new, and then just to kind of quickly recap on how this Asia has developed over the last 10 years. So, Asia has been a long time a transit destination. We didn't have much home port. But Princess brought some Princess in 2013. And today we have our friends MSC home porting in Japan as well. And of course, like Silverseas and the other luxury brands do the seasonal home porting in Asia, which is really amazing from what you have seen in the last 10 years, all the growth we have done. So I'm really looking forward to what we can achieve in the next 10 years. That's what we are thinking as the cruise lines.
Brilliant, thank you, Susan. So from my point of view, this is a question now to the destination here. You've heard from the cruise lines, there's been a huge growth in the past. What do you think has been the primary factors that has driven this growth? And also, how do you see this trend going forward into the future? So perhaps Joanne first?
Okay. First, I think there is a few key factors to drive the cruise business in Asia and in Hong Kong, particularly. First, we are very welcoming destinations. As I just introduced previously. We got so many attractions, and we actually have a lot of events throughout the year. So every time you come to Hong Kong, there is something happens. But other than attractions, I think there is a few more points that can, a few factors that can enhance the growth. The other one is, other than a welcoming destination, I would say we are a regional home port with great connectivity and opportunities. Why I'm saying that is, at least Hong Kong is a very accessible city through airline, and also we are part of the Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau, Greater Bay Area. Actually, for the source market that cruise line looking for, they are not only looking for the 7 million people in Hong Kong, they are also looking for the 86 million in the Greater Bay Area, which is very easily accessible from mainland, the Greater Bay Area to Hong Kong through the Guangdong, Hong Kong, Zhuhai Macau Bridge, as well as the high-speed rail. So other than that, and the most important part, I think, is the commitment to cruise line. The Hong Kong government have been earmarked additional budget and additional funding to support the cruise lines for their deployment, for their promotion in Hong Kong. So I think these three factors is actually driving the cruise business in Hong Kong. Yeah.
Brilliant. Those are some significant numbers you just mentioned there, Joanne, as well. To Emily,
Yeah, okay.
primary factors for Taiwan.
Yes, okay. Because I think 讲中文不好意思，因为邮轮增加必须有一些的条件，包括 harbor。
So we need multiple conditions such as a harbor facility and infrastructure. And as Joanne mentioned, we need destination, diversified destination and tourist attractions, which could be signature item for your travel program. We have to work with hotels and shopping centers, as well as a transportation system, which should be comfortable and convenient. So we need to be equipped with such conditions to drive the growth of the cruise industry. So we are targeting a better ports of call now. And when you embark on a journey, you need to offer tourists great experiences. And after pandemic, Taiwan would like to provide more specified experiences, including natural environment. And around the terminal, the infrastructure should be convenient as well. So my organization and my colleagues from Keelung Port are here as well. And we always think about how we will respond to the tourists and what kind of support could be done by the government.
Thank you, Emily. Mr. Kwon, over to you. Do you share the same sort of similar growth factors coming into Korea as well?
예. 한국에서도 뭐
Yes, of course. In Korea, I believe we share these commonalities. And for the past 10 years, the cruise industry has grown. And in particular, in Korea, when cruise ships enter the Korean ports, it gives a positive impact to the community. And that drove more interest within the community around the cruise industry. So I think that sort of drove the industry's growth. But because of the COVID-19, there were some delays and halts, which is a shame. But as the industry resumes this year, as we discussed, there are various programs and connection programs. And of course, the citizens in the near the destinations, they're very welcoming actually, and they have these positive views. So I think that really helps grow the industry in Korea. Thank you.
Brilliant, thank you. Sai-san, you've also just now mentioned quite a lot of growth. You've seen that yourself in the last 10 years here. You know, from a cruise line perspective, do you share the same common impacts and so forth from a cruise line's perspective?
Yes, absolutely. And then I think what I want to emphasize today is that from now on, like more personalized experience and more authentic local experience, those going to be the key. It was not that those were not necessarily the key for the last 10 years, but for the next 10 years, definitely more personalized and more authentic local experience.
Brilliant, thank you. And Tatiana?
Yes, we are aligned on the thought. We see growth demanding on international travelers in general, and especially on the luxury segment. We see that there is a progressive shifting from tangible goods, so they don't look anymore for jewelry, bags, watches, cars, but they're more interested in building real, authentic, and unique experience. And of course, traveling is a phenomenal way to explore and to have in a bucket list those experiences, which now we see from our client that is what is considered now a luxury. So for sure, Silversea is invested in collaboration with the ports, with destinations, and the government on making sure that whichever activities and shore excursion and place we visit is linked truly to the destination in order to unlock and further give luxury to our guests.
Brilliant, thank you. I think all the destination ports have also mentioned it in the past earlier, that it's a unique, they want to offer something different. And I think this is exactly music to your ears from a cruise line's perspective. Now, to capture the growth that was mentioned, a question to the destination ports, how have you invested in your infrastructure to grow with the industry? And perhaps, are there any improvements that have been planned to continue to capture the growth? I think I'm going to ask Emily first, because she did mention there was some infrastructure that has already been happened in Taiwan. Yes. So please do tell us a little bit more.
Okay, thank you, Dickson. 刚刚有提到这个发展啊，我们是以那个高。
So in Taiwan, in case of cruise travel, we focus on home ports. We have 2 home ports, but during COVID-19, Keelung Port and Taiwan Port, these 2 ports built service center. The other one was Kaohsiung Port, not Taiwan Port. So we strengthened our service there. So when a cruise ship is put in at the port, we would like to provide smarter services. So we try to improve our infrastructure in that direction. And for customs clearing, which is very important, we built the system to expedite the customs process. And in case of Keelung Port, there is a connectivity to Kaohsiung Port now.
Very, very valid points. It's the processes as well as the hardware. The same question go to Joanne, and perhaps in terms of infrastructure and how you guys are capturing this in Hong Kong.
Yeah, I think Hong Kong government sees the importance of infrastructure for the cruise tourism like 10 years ago, because we turned the old airport one way to the high-tech cruise terminal. So and we also see the government also see their the cruise terminal is actually can accommodate the largest cruise ship, well, back to 2013. So I think they're pretty into seeing the importance of infrastructure. Yeah, and yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Thank you. And same for Mr. Kwon as well in terms of infrastructure in Korea.
Well, as it was just mentioned, well, in Korea also, we've been investing a lot to the related facilities, especially for Busan, Incheon, and Jeju. Now the ports can accommodate the cruise ships weighing up to 220,000 tons, and Sokcho Port has now recently been built, as I mentioned. And next year we are planning to open the Huang Port, and Incheon as well as Jeju Port, which have recently been built. I believe that there's no particular inconvenience when it comes to facilities, but for the existing ports, we are keeping with these renewing work so that there's no problem, Kurt. Thank you.
Your response, and obviously we've seen around North Asia in particularly, we're in a very mature place in terms of infrastructure. Almost every port that we go and see where there's a big ships coming in, we have to have assets in place. You agree with that? Do you see that as is a room for further development, do you think? Or is need for further development, do you think? Maybe first question to Tatiana?
Sure. Well, there is always room for further development, for sure, and there's always through collaboration that we can achieve that. For sure, as we saw as well in previous panels, sustainability is one of the biggest challenges that we will face during these years, with scrutiny not just by the regulators, but as well by the consumer and the new generation of travelers, because they will be more sensitive to this topic. So we have to deliver as well to them, which we sell the cruise to. So for sure, there is a commitment, cruise line and CLIA, and of course with the destination on making sure that we achieve this. Our commitment for sure is delivered with the Silver Nova that we will launch soon, which is a multi-hybrid fleet that creating two of the most environmentally friendly cruise ship with Silver Nova and Silver Ray, thanks to the technologies and unprecedented sustainability features. So for us, obviously, in order to deploy the vessel and to use the tool which we invested on, it's important that the port where we go, the infrastructure is able to sustain and to have shore power connection or LNG supply in order for us to have and welcome the new generation of vessels.
A very good point. And to Sai-san, from your perspective?
Yes, absolutely. So there is plenty of room to enhance, I would say. I'll give two examples. So let's say when it comes to port facility, we appreciate all the countries around, including Korea and Taiwan, Japan. You guys have developed a lot of port facilities and terminals to accommodate bigger ships like Princess and MSC and then our friends Royal Caribbean. But we also have to make sure that we have a luxury ships with more smaller ships that each port also have to accommodate. So big terminal, not necessarily workable for the luxury ships. So those need collaborations
To accommodate each taste
Exactly.
and each needs of each cruise line, for sure.
Exactly, yeah, those to be required.
Brilliant, thank you. So we've just heard that we know that there's a lot of growth coming in. We have the infrastructure that is going to be in place to capitalize on that. So my next question is to the destination ports. So here, what initiatives are you taking to attract more cruise passengers or capitalize on the growth in terms of popularity of cruising? You know, I'm going to start from on my left here with Joanne.
Actually, HKTB did a lot of things to attract the cruise passengers all over the world. We cooperate with cruise lines to do some promotions at their source markets because, like, you know, every cruise line, they have their own sourcing. So this is, we cooperate, and then we even leverage our worldwide office to promote the cruise line and position Hong Kong as the cruise destination. So other than that, I think we also try to enhance the awareness of cruising in local because especially for home port, I think they are also looking for some local sourcing. So for the local sourcing, we cooperate with the cruise line to provide local marketing support. Say for example, we have our Resort World 1 home porting in Hong Kong since March. To celebrate the home port department, year-round home port department, we actually worked with the cruise line to bring the Hong Kong Chinese Orchestra on board on the deck to perform, which is the first ever SC orchestra performance, and with the Victoria Harbour view. And this kind of interesting angle actually drive the local coverage and also the awareness from the local customers. And other than local, I think from internationally, because Hong Kong, as I said, we have events throughout the year. And what we can do or what we can work with cruise line as we can have some themed cruise and tie with the destination's events. Say, for example, we will have Wine and Dine Festival every year in Hong Kong, and we can work with cruise line to do some themed cruises, wine and dine themed. Say, the passengers can enjoy the wine and dine vibes on board the cruise ship. And at the same time, they also given the tickets, the entrance, admission tickets for our wine and dine festivals, which means they can not only enjoy the wine and dine themed or some authentic experience of Hong Kong on board the ship, but they can also enjoy the event onshore. So they can like a combination of making the product more interesting. Yeah.
Thank you. And Emily, in terms of Taiwan Tourism Bureau, how have you guys done it?
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. Because 应该经过 COVID-19， 那大家应该都知道，包括在场。
So after pandemic, the cruise industry is witnessing various changes. And in case of Taiwan, the government has a very important project on the development of the cruise industry. The Ministry of Transport and Port Authority and Tourism Organization are working together to improve our hardware, which is infrastructure. And we made a huge investment during the COVID-19 era. I talked about Keelung Port. We reduced the service fee at the port to provide incentive. And when we have international guests at the port, they have to go through the security check. However, we streamlined such a process for their convenience. And the Taiwanese government has improved many things during COVID-19 era. So now we have increased the number of routes for Taiwan. So it is a stronger incentive. And we have many other assistance programs to overcome the COVID-19 and develop new travel programs for Taiwan.
Okay, thank you, Emily. Very, very interesting. Mr. Kwon, from your perspective, looking at it in Korea, what have you guys done successfully?
Well, for growing cruise industry, what we are doing is, well, we are trying to attract more calls to Korean ports as we do port sales. We've been promoting our destinations and what are the advantages and so on. So we've been briefing about this to the cruise liners as well as to the people. And the next is about designating mother port. And in case of Korea, comparing to other countries, we do have less number of passengers. So we are at its infancy, I would say. But as we saw a rise in the income levels of Korea, there are more interest around cruise industry. So we've been operating this program called a experience program. And this is one thing. And one of the effort that we've been making is around promoting these activities on YouTube as we work with the influencers and centering around the mother ports. We try to combine the programs with the K-culture, not the current K-pop, the old K-pop, I would say. So we've been utilizing these to attract more passengers locally, and we've seen the great response. And going forward, I believe that the demand will grow domestically. So I think in that regard, I think we can make this as more global as we work together with other neighboring countries. And another thing is Fly and Cruise program that was launched this year. And this, I think, is also important from this mother port perspective. So we will focus on this as we do the port sales.
That's covering quite a lot. So my question then over to the cruise lines. You've just heard from the destination ports here. They've done everything. They've been wrecking their brains and tapping into appealing to the cruise passengers, from bringing in the Chinese orchestra onto the ship, streamlining processes for island hopping, even appealing to the K-pop, the original K-pop from Korea. So from a cruise line perspective, how have you guys been doing this? Maybe to Tatiana?
Sure. Well, for Silversea, as we said before, we saw the cruise and luxury market has changed on the way they see and attract guests. So what we've been developing in the past years with the Silver Moon and Silver Nova class, meaning the bigger class of vessel, is to dedicate more to the experience and to the destination. We have a program called SALT, which means a sea and land tasting, which is offered in our vessels, Moon class, where basically you have a dedicated restaurant and a dedicated cooking class or lab, where you are directly linked to the destination where you go, and this is very successful and super popular among our guests. So let's assume we are today in Taiwan, tomorrow in Hong Kong, and in Singapore, etc. Every day on board, we bring the local cuisine, and we have a menu dedicated to the place where we are. That in extension to the destination, the willing and always developing is to have a shore excursion and destination and activities linked to also bring outside and to directly have, I don't know, demonstration or cooking class, whichever is the activity that the destination is offering to maintain the SALT program very active and very popular. Because we started on the moon and was a trial and was very successful, and now we're been deploying this through all new class of vessel. So it's something that for sure we are focusing on.
Wow. And to Sai-san, from
Yes.
Princess Cruises' perspective,
Yeah, thank you.
what have you guys been doing?
Yeah, so we have a program called Local Connection, and I assume a lot of you are aware about our program. So it's more about connecting with locals. So it really leads to the authentic experience. So we partner with local chefs, local craftsmen, local artists, and it's such a special experience, and you have a lot to learn, and you really get connected with locals. It's a really authentic experience. And we have been received a lot of collaboration from Japanese government, actually, because Japan has tons of destinations and ports, and then Japan has unlimited cultural experience. So they have introduced us, the craftsmanship in this region or this port, and so we never knew before. So those collaborations we are enjoying, and our guests. We make that as a ShoreX program, and we put a premium price on it. But all the guests who experienced, they loved it. So we really transferring from traditional, big bus going to the main tourist destination to more localized, authentic, personalized experience.
Wow, that is a very, very good example of collaboration and partnership with a local destination. So thank you. Yeah, you see that coming through more and more now, as Tatiana mentioned too. You're looking at some of these unique experiences. That's what you're looking for from a cruise line's perspective.
Yes, unique experience to connect with the destination, exactly as you said. I mean, we are aligned on this thought. That is what the cruise line and Silversea is looking for.
Brilliant. Now, back to the destination first. How do you anticipate the growth of cruising in your destination will now evolve in the coming years, having heard what the cruise lines are looking for? What steps are you taking, to attract more international cruise lines to come? You've talked about the passengers' appeal, now the cruise lines. What are you doing to bring that to the region? Joanne?
We actually think there's a healthy growth rate for the cruise tourism in Asia, I think. And what we have been doing in the past few months after the pandemic, we have been telling the cruise line partners proactively, telling them that Hong Kong is back to the world stage. And we, with our core strengths, with our new experience, what we can offer, or some authentic experience, and And we also participate quite a lot of trade shows to let the industry leaders to know Hong Kong is back, and through these events to tell them what Hong Kong can offer and also what we have for the funding or marketing co-op support. And most importantly, I think we also communicate one very key message is the regional cooperation. Because to us, I think it's important to bring back the ship to the region. It's not only Hong Kong itself, because on cruise itinerary, we got bring back the cruise, they actually have itineraries to different destinations, as Tatiana just mentioned, maybe to Hong Kong, Taiwan, Japan, Korea, they got different cultures. So it's very important to tell the cruise lines that especially for those that are not familiar with the Asia market, the regional cooperation bring back the ship back to Asia with all the partnering destinations that we have. Yeah.
Brilliant, thank you. And to Emily, on a Taiwan's perspective, what have you been doing more to attract the cruise lines in coming back? What efforts have you guys been putting in?
Yes, because also just like Joanne said, 我们也是有参加一些这个我们区域。
So we are also targeting a regional collaboration. And we are actively participating in A-Clean's activities as well. And we participate in other networks very actively, such as CTRAC. And in March this year, in Taiwan, there are other domestic networks, which we are also very active. And after COVID-19 in Taiwan, we have been developing new travel programs. And to introduce such new cruise programs, we are promoting them actively within Taiwan. So we have set up a new team to promote programs. And in particular, we have promotional activities for retirees. And we would like to play a faithful home port.
Bringing in new jobs, economy for Korean economy. What have you been doing to appeal to the cruise lines?
예, 뭐 앞서 말씀드렸다시피
Well, as just mentioned, infrastructure and the local promotions, and these are part of our efforts. And as cruise liners have mentioned, we try to accommodate cruise ships in various sizes, and also we work together with local communities as well as the local tourism authorities. But to make it easier for cruise liners, I believe that more cooperative system will be required, and that is part of our plan as well. And if we think about growing the domestic market, and I think that will help also, and we will also try to promote more destinations to the cruise liners so that we can deliver a great experience to the passengers.
Of course, I mean, alliances, cooperations and partnerships are all key parts here. The same message has been coming through here from Destination. I've only realized that we've now got a couple of minutes left. We haven't even touched upon challenges, opportunities. We haven't touched upon regulatory discussions yet. So I'm just going to ask this final question really to all our guests here. You know, after the resumption of the pandemic, I know we're not supposed to dwell on the past, but unfortunately it did scar us in the industry. It affected all of us very, very differently. But now the resumption has now restarted. What steps and efforts are needed to your destination? First of all, with the destination question here, is there to be more attractive and to be more vibrant after the resumption is now restarted? Maybe I can ask Emily first on that question. Emily? Yeah.
You mean
Yeah.
挑战跟
yeah. the efforts that it's needed for your destination to
Yes.
even become even more attractive and
Yes.
to statement.
OK，我想这个因为这个挑战当然是很多。那像
So we have multiple challenges ahead. As you mentioned, we have to open up the market and develop new travel programs. That is one challenge. And in case of international routes, I believe that it is already quite tight. And in case of promotion, we have to tap into diverse fly and cruise programs so that we can attract more people to Taiwan. And we have to introduce more aspects of our country. And we have to make the stay longer. And we need to work in partnership with other countries in the region. And we have to offer new experiences. So Taiwan has a beautiful natural landscape and many other tourist resources. And to utilize that, we will closely work with the cruise-related network and association in the region. And for vessels in different sizes, I would like to attract all of the sizes to Taiwan, and we have to make efforts for that.
Wish you all the very success in attracting all the sizes of different shapes and sizes to ships. And Joanne, over to you from Hong Kong's perspective.
From our perspective, I think we have been launching different kind of promotions in overseas market with our large-scale global campaign called Hello Hong Kong. We have been introducing all our newest attraction, newest authentic experience of Hong Kong, and also we also like for a part of the campaign, we also giving out like 500,000 air tickets for people travelers around the world to come to Hong Kong to experience this in person. And I think, as I mentioned, destination promotion is very important, and the regional cooperation is also our key focus to bring back the ship to the regions, to cooperate with all the destination partnerings around. And lastly, we also actually doing very hard proactively to communicate with cruise line, no matter you are deploying in Hong Kong or in the coming future you are planning, or even you don't have a plan, just come and when we can explore the opportunities. And more exciting news is we in Hong Kong, we are planning to have a trade event in Hong Kong in late October. So let's stay tuned for that.
Okay, so from Hong Kong perspective, regardless, just come and talk to Joanne, please. And last question to Mr. Kwon as well, from Korea's perspective, please.
Okay, so as you mentioned, after COVID-19, there have been some challenges, and as you may know, around 3 years we have seen that the cruise operations been almost suspended, and we also experienced the disruptions in infrastructures as well, and a large part of it already recovered, but still, if that continued, then that might have been worse. But as I've mentioned, by working with communities and by providing the experience-focused programs, I think that will play an important role in promoting destinations. So that's our focus. So not just central government, but also we work with the other central governments so that we can grow and expand the cruise industry as a whole. Thank you.
Mr. Kwon, it is important to hear this from the government perspective, that not only are they reaching out to partnerships, to clients, to cruise lines, and appeal to the cruise passengers, but also work internally between partnerships of different departments. So my final question over to the cruise line is to Tatiana and Sai-san, just to wrap this up completely. If I can ask you just to use this last opportunity post-pandemic, what are your words of encouragement to the destination ports and to all of our key stakeholders out there to do and continue to do? So, Tatiana, over to you.
Thanks. But first, in Silversea, we always say there are no challenges, but only opportunities. So we have a big opportunities among all of us to collaborate and to do a better future. We saw in the previous panels that the effort and the need is sustainability. And as a cruise line, we are committed on building more and more vessels towards that. So for sure, for the destination, I would say that are needed two efforts. One is more operational effort on making sure that infrastructure, port is capable of welcoming our vessel in order to sustain a zero-emission goal. And the second is more a commercial effort on making sure that we don't lose the focus on our guests, because obviously we need to comply with regulation, but still be attractive for our guests to buy the cruise and come with us. So the two combined, operational effort, commercial effort together in order to sustain the cruise industry in the future.
No, very fair point. Thank you, Tatiana. And last, of course, but not least, Sai-san. From your perspective.
Thank you, Dickson. So I would definitely want to say that we all have a bright future ahead, and then let's drive this journey together. And I say this because from my experience of 3 years ago, Diamond Princess incident. So it was we are here today able to restart in Asia, and it didn't happen by nature. It was everybody's wish to get the cruise industry back, and it was all the government's effort to make it happen together. So we had all this great collaboration together to be here. So really my wish is my belief is that there is a strong market here. And let's continue to grow this market together as a source market and also as a destination. Thank you.
Thank you. What a boost of confidence. But that wraps up my session here. I'm going to hand over to the MC to give thanks to the panel speakers in joining me here. A big thanks, please, to the guests.
Okay, the session number 2A has been finished. Please give a big round of applause to the debaters.